Hello everybody. You find me in a, well, what looks like a very messy room, to be honest. Let's kind of tidy this up a bit. Hang on. No, that's the background. That's the app. Oh, idiot. Hang on. No, I want me. Bear with. There you go. That looks a bit better, isn't it, if I hide all that stuff off the side? Yeah, I'm trying to get the force curve working. You'll see I've already connected SmartRow, which is, I'm using the SmartRow handle again instead of the Concept 2. I've got my watch connected. Event is starting. Don't want to do that yet. If I go, right, start, just row, pick a route, start session. Let's see if it pops up here. I've just been through once, checked all the settings and went for it, but I don't see it appearing. So if I go options, additional information, so just row, you can see my force curve is on. Training, you can see my force curve is on. And then competition, just for the sake of it, you can see my force curve is on. Show all power, display both watts and splits. Just row, okay, apply changes just for the sake of it. Now I just have restarted the app as well to see if it pops up, but close menu, and if I hit start on the app, I'm going to check in a second just to see if people are watching. You can see no force curve still. And I don't know why. I don't know whether, is it something to do with using the SmartRow handle? That's not, is this good for Achilles pain? Or someone's just messaged asking about Achilles pain. I wonder whether that's the, oh, good point actually, I've not started my thing. Right, okay, let's just reset for the time being. I'm going to check and see if anyone's watching, if anyone's online, if you can hear me and see me. I shall answer. Come on. Come on. Why aren't you? Hello, I'm here. Oh, now all my notifications have gone. There we go. Right. It was like watching your dad use a thing. Yes to both. Oh, what was that? Hang on. Yes to both. Hear and see. Ah, right. Thanks, Andrew. Right, okay. Hang on, let me turn the sound down on me. So Nuka's back. Hello, welcome back. Hello, hi there from Kuala Lumpur. Yay, Munira's here. TT's here. John Edge, hi everybody. Did a weird 2K time trial this week. Ooh, first 800 at 18 strokes a minute, then 230, and then finished off the last 1,000 at 22. Got a new PB of 8:15. You know what? A PB is a PB, so let's not, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Right, okay, so back to the force curve. So I don't understand. I've got what, 12 minutes to try and sort out why I can't see the force curve on EXA. The only thing I can assume is that it's for some strange reason it's the SmartRow handle that is the problem. How do we? All right, I'll tell you what we can do. Tell you what we can do. If I quit session, and then let's trash that. Now, I've got things to explain today. Right, well, thanks. Andrew, are you on an Apple? Yes, I am. I'm on my MacBook. Is it not working on that yet? Is that what you're about to tell me, Andrew? Because that'll save me from disconnecting my handle. And because what I was about to try was using the Concept 2 monitor instead of the SmartRow handle to see if that was the issue. But you wouldn't. Hang on. So they're just wondering, right, so Sanuka is asking, what's my, too many people. All right, so Andrew says only have PC or Android. So I'm assuming that means that the force curve doesn't work on my MacBook. So after all that, let's go with that. So I just have to enable force curves. Yeah, but TT's just saying I just have to enable force curve in the settings. All right, you're on MacBook too. But I just went through the settings thing and it kind of showed what was going on. All right, I'll tell you what, we've got time, so I'm going to quickly, where is that it there for the connections? Okay, so if I disconnect Rower, because just then I was connected via Smart Row. So if I go PM5 instead, don't worry, Sunuka, I'm going to answer you in a minute. I'm just trying to get this right first. Basically, my PB for 2K is 637, but it's been a long time since I've been down at 637 time. History of illness and injury and whatever, and also just not really training for 2Ks. Right, okay, so let me just get this right. So if I go back to just row, I'll go back to Henley, start session. Just try and do this quickly and then I can start the main thing. So I'm now connected via the PM5. Because now you can see the box down bottom left has popped up. So maybe it's a Smart Row thing, that the Smart Row data doesn't carry through. So let's just see what happens if I start rowing. Yeah. Can you see it behind me? Oh, you can't. My big fat booty is in the way, isn't it? Was that the... So if I rearrange me, I go do this quickly because I know we've not got all the time. Not got all the time in the world for this, do we? So if I do that, then I'm going to flip me again. You can see all the junk that sits behind me. Transform. Oh no, wrong one. It's like when you go to school and your teacher has a slideshow and they hilariously put one in upside down. Flip vertical again. Okay, are you okay with me rowing this way today? Okay, so there you go. So you got force curve. Oh no, now I go right off the side of the screen. Let's move me back. Trying to make it so you can still see my pace, rowing and still see my pace at the same time. Is that all right? If I go like that. Yeah, and it's very faithful to the concept too. So right, there we go. So that seems to be the issue. So I don't know if anyone from Smart Row is watching today, in which case I've got things to explain anyway, like why am I not in the RP3? But I'm going to use the Concept 2's PM5 today so that I can show people force curve stuff. I will still talk about how amazing your handle is, don't worry about it. So quit session, trash session. Sorry if anyone's messaging me right now, but I will answer you in a sec. We all sorted? Yes, we are. Funny thing is that the handle will still connect to Smart Row, so do I need to do that? No, I'm actually going to quit Smart Row. So anyway, Smart Row people, if you are watching, then that's something to something of interest, possibly the fact that the data from Smart Row handle in terms of EXA doesn't carry through the data for stroke length and stroke force curve stuff. Right, where are we? So TT, yes, I was connected. Well, I wasn't, but I am now. Just be able to force curve, yes. And MacBook, yes. Sunuka smiles, hey, force curve is PM5, but not Smart Row enabled. We just discovered that. Thank you. Sunuka says, nice about my 2K. I use Smart Row for the force curve additionally to the PM5 data. Yeah, so Smart Row handle and the app would still give me force curve, but I want you to see force curve info while I'm rowing today, which is why it's I've got that on there. So we're all caught up, yes? Is that right? I'm connected. We've got 6 minutes to go, is that right? Yep, just under 6 minutes to go. And people are watching, you can hear me, you can see me. It's a beautiful thing. And it's a Sunday in Glasgow. It's very rainy. It's kind of coming and going. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's rainy, but it's mostly rainy after 2 or 3 weeks of absolutely amazingness. There are 96 people rowing. I'd like to say that that has something to do with all of the RowAlong people joining in for British rowing, but it is, of course, British Rowing's row, so lots of people there. But what I'm going to do, hey HP, how are you? I'm ready for the 25th day doing 10K, fantastic. But crikey, that's a lot of meters. What I'm going to do, just for the fun of it, in fact I should actually start rowing. I'm still not set off the, right, I've got a red light therapy thing, there we go, beep, that I want to run on my ankles. I wanted to do this before I started, to be honest, and I've been too busy messing around with with Smart Row and force curves that I forgot to turn it on. But it looks like I've just been released from prison with a little, I've got a tag on. Strong Rowing Series HPK. So my plan, and I'm gonna, oh no, because can I warm up? It's not gonna cause a problem, is it? No. I'm gonna talk to you for a couple of minutes while I warm up a little bit, because what I wanna do is the first 100 meters or so of today's row, I'm gonna sprint just to, with any luck, to try and blast through the front of the field, like RowAlong at the front, that kind of thing. And we'll see how, I mean, nobody will care. I'm now fascinated by the comparison between the Concept 2's force curve and Extra's force curve. But it is pretty much, it's a bit more, there's more data points, I guess, on Extra. So I get a bit more jagginess. Well, let's go for, yeah, because that last stroke on my Concept 2 doesn't look quite as jaggy down the back end. Like for me, I was like looking at it thinking, oh, that's quite, it's almost like what you want it to be for a proper force curve. But basically, if I'll talk about this during the row, but I'm not saying that's a perfect force curve, but it's a good indication of kind of what you're looking for. How long have we got? 3 minutes, how good. In that, you can see, in fact, oh no, I'll have to go all the way like that. I'll never be able to point to it. But you can see it's got sharp up, which means I'm putting the power in right from the front. Okay, so it's got a whoosh, like power goes wah, and then it holds across the top. And that's because I'm continuing that power and swinging my back. So that power continues at the top of the curve, and then it kind of goes down quite sharp. And that's because obviously all you've got is your arms at the back, but it's still kind of, it's all loaded through the top of that curve, okay? So it shouldn't really, the only time really to worry about the downside of the force curve, or wherever you're looking at me, is if it goes like that. It was like a ski slope down. Right now it's like falling off a mountain. But if it's like a long ski slope, that kind of means that you've got like a really slow finish to your stroke, rather than it being quite a quick finish. So I'm not, like I say, I'm not saying that my curve is ideal, and we'll go through various kind of things curve-wise in today's row. But that's kind of what you're looking for, is a sharp start. You don't want it to be a slow start, because what that means is that you're not really putting the power in an explosive way. Remember, you want to explode into the front so you're hanging off the handle. And then that power continues across the top. And the reason for that continuation is because you've got your legs are still push, push, push. And then as your legs start to fade, your back takes over. And that's what keeps that power at the top of the curve, is as your legs go, your back takes over. Okay, so if you have like a straight up and a straight down, that means that you're kind of like going whoosh and then just kind of finishing. If you've got like a really gentle upslope, it means that you're not getting that acceleration. And if you've got like a really long downslope, what it kind of tends to mean is that you've completely scooted the front of the stroke, and then you've got like a little, not scoot, that's not really the right thing to say, but you've not really got the power into the front, and then you're spending a long time with basically just an arm pull at the back, and then because that's not as much power, that's why you get like a long slope down the back. Right. Where are we time-wise? A minute to go. Quick swig. But in fact, hang on, I'm going to cover the microphone so you'd have to hear this. Because nobody needs to hear somebody gulping, unless the microphone is right at my throat. Okay, so I'm going to start off fast. Oh no, one of my foot plates is down. Remember to take your foot plates, people. I'm going to start off fast, and then I'm going to settle down to 20 strokes a minute, and then I might do the 2 minutes in sprints. So I'm going to start off with that kind of 10-15 second sprint, and then on every 2 minute marker as we go through, I'm going to do a 15-second sprint. How does that sound? You can join me if you want. You don't have to. So 15-second sprint, and then 1:45 slow, 15-second sprint, 1:45 slow for half an hour. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. How many people just joined in? Amazing. Well done, everyone. I love that. Now, the only downside to all of that testing is that my monitor is now completely out of whack to Exa. So I've just passed 2 minutes. I'm about 4 seconds out. Okay. So when my monitor says 2:04, I sprint next then. Whew. That was a bit of a shocking start. Okay. Can't believe I'm still so out of breath after a 15-second sprint. Me and Andrew rowing together. Isn't that nice? Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, 15-second sprint in 10 seconds. You ready? Let's go. Where's my watch is turned off. What did I do? There's TT. Right, so why am I not on the RP3 as promised? Because about an hour ago I came into the studio to change the handle over from Concept 2 to RP3, the Smart Row handle I mean, and hadn't really read about how to change the handle on a RP3 and undid the little catch, pulled on the handle, and the chain and the U bolt fell out and disappeared inside the machine. So I'm going to have to take the machine apart to find the connections again. All right, ready for the next one? In 3 seconds. Here we go. Remember, if you are rowing on Exa as well, my timings on YouTube are totally different. I'm about 24, yeah, about 4 seconds out. So make sure to look at the Exa timer for every even minute mark. Here's some other folks coming up the side. Yabo 2. Who knows whether they're RowAlong viewers or British rowing viewers. Who showed 99 strokes per minute? Hopefully not me. Anyway, so a short part of that story is that I didn't successfully retrieve the U-bolt in time, so I had to go back to concept 2 for today. Okay, 10 seconds. Whew. One more stroke. Here we go. You can see how my force curve changes. In the sprints, like again, I'm not saying I have a perfect force curve by any means, but it's at least rounded when I'm rowing these 20 strokes a minute pieces. But what you find during these sprints is that it ends up being a very sharp up and down. I think that means that on the sprints I'm not quite getting the transfer between the 3 phases of my stroke. I'm possibly missing the arm pull. Whew. Should have made this 3 minutes, shouldn't I? Not 1:45 and 15. But hey, what better way to spend a Sunday afternoon? 10 seconds until the next one. One more stroke. You ready? Let's go. So again, look at my force curve. Sorry, my microphone cable was playing up that time. The thing is, they're going to find that because this is low power for 1:45 and then a sprint, the people like S. Robertson, who's just passed Andrew and I, they're possibly rowing this at like a steady 1:54 pace, and therefore they've caught up and are easily taking off into the distance. That's okay. It's not what we're doing today. Whew. How many of these have we done? 10 minutes coming up. Is this our 6th? Hopefully you are rowing your own row, whether that means following me or just picking what you want to do. One more stroke. Here we go. I'm trying to see what I need to change. Not entirely sure what part of my stroke I need to tidy up to stop that being a V hill. But so again, I'm not saying I have a perfect force curve, but I do transfer legs to back relatively okay. And so that's what gives me the relatively rounded hill to my curve. But if I just lean back the whole time, you can see that it's not as curvy, or at least I have to really pull with the arms. If I don't pull, that's what happens. But if I then hold my forward tilt, the curve improves. Subtle, I know. Okay, one more stroke. Here we go. How many strokes? 2. Nine. Sorry, Andrew, I have to keep on adjusting my microphone cable after each sprint, so I end up dropping pace. Oh, where have you gone? So you might think that this is just a bit of fun doing it this way, but what it does is it transforms just climbing on and aimlessly flapping up and down the rail into something with more focus. Using these 145s as like a active recovery after the 15-second sprints gives this a much different training effect than if we were just to row this entire session at 20 strokes a minute. Okay, coming up. 2 more strokes. 1 more. Let's get ready to rumble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 9. Oh, there you go. Because I'm a big believer in the importance of zone 2 rowing, which is low intensity stuff, for building your core foundation fitness. It's really important. However, I'm also quite a firm believer that if you train slow, you go slow. And so, even though the majority of your training would benefit from zone 2 stuff, throwing in higher intensity workouts is what helps your power, your central nervous system, even your tenacity to hold intensity past your comfort zone. Okay, I'll continue in a sec. A few more strokes. One more. Here we go. Remember, power from the legs plus stroke rate equals speed. Last one. So get the power up, but also get the rate up. Julian, Graham, you bend towards the catch. So when you start the push, you're actually straightening your back simultaneously. You could try keeping your back straight. All right. Thanks, Julian. I think I've definitely got a rounding issue as I come forwards. Well, that's my red light therapy turning off. How do I stay straight? I try not to over compress. Should we do that? No heel raise. Let's see if that makes a difference for the next one. Of course, I am in zero rise shoes, so that makes a bit of a difference. All right, 3 more strokes, 2 more, 1 more. Here we go. It was better at times. First few strokes were definitely better. I think this is one of these moments where Julian has pointed out a very ingrained gremlin in my stroke. One which will need time and concentration to eradicate. Because often technique issues are unconscious ones that you don't actually know you're doing. So you need to concentrate on your position in like training blocks, and certainly not when you're talking away pretending you know what you're doing. Julian says it's not easy. My back tends to round. I think they'll probably say with fatigue. But I've got a heart in the way. All right, 10 seconds. I'll try and concentrate again. 1 more stroke. I'm a bit out of time here. Here we go. Hinge. 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 I think it's largely a core posture thing too. Good grief. I'm getting a stitch. I haven't had a stitch for a long time. I'm trying to do quite a lot of work on my core right now because I realised something is very wrong with my core strength. Something I kind of picked up when I was kayaking, and especially when over the winter months and we were doing pool sessions, which was all about recovery and trying to roll back up from a capsize. That's when I noticed I have very little oblique strength, but I think my lower, upper and middle core I've neglected proper focus training since like January, and it really shows. Okay, a few more strokes, 2 more, 1 more, and again. Try and stay up. Posture. Oh, you can tell though, my sprint pace, I think the first one was like 1:35 or something, and then that last one was about 1:45. It's important though, in a row like this, to not let these sections drop. I think the past couple of recovery points, I have been letting it drop to like 2:10 pace, but I really want to keep this around about 2:06, 2:05-ish, in order to get the proper benefit from this session. It's like a juggling act in terms of intensity you're meant to be working at. Enough to recover, not enough that you're not working. 2 more strokes. 1 more. All right, Andrew, let's go. Hold your lean. Come on. One more. I have to say, the more I row with the Smart Row handle, the more I like the comfort and even the feel, the weight of it. At first, I thought that it was a little top heavy, where all the electronic gubbins are, but I don't think it was, or it is. I think it's just different, and different doesn't necessarily mean bad. Whew. So where are we? About 550 meters to go. on this lap. And then once we hit the finish line, I'm just going to take it easy. So, might not be the full 30 minutes of low and fast, I think. Let's see where we are, time-wise. Might be close enough that we should do it. Okay, 2 more strokes. 1 more stroke. Let's go. Nice and easy. We should hit the 28 sprint before we finish. Let's definitely do that, Andrew. If you can hear me all the way in the distance there. I'm not listening to myself. Backed off the pace too much. That's why Andrew went off into the distance. Oh, there's a helicopter. Maybe Tom Cruise is in it. I'd like to jump out and wrestle one of us to the ground. Really looking forward to the next Mission Impossible. I still think Fallout was one of the best action movie films made. There's that TT going for the sprint to a finish. But I'm still going to do the 28-minute sprint if I can get the timing right. I think it's coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. One more stroke. And then let's paddle for a while. Now obviously, there will be a lot of you who finished before us, and I've just been watching this going, when are you going to finish? And then a bunch of you who are still rowing. If I go, let's discuss stroke length and things. Right, for a start, let's see. Yeah, so my force curve right now is taking up the entire width of the box on the PM5. I really wish the display here on EXA would use the full width as well. Seems like a bit of a waste of space for that back third. I'll maybe mention that to the developers. But so this is me just tickling the machine. You can see I'm doing 306-ish pace-wise, just tickling in power. But after this stroke, I'm going to give it some welly, okay? You see that? In fact, it's a good one to stop on actually, just for a second, because you can see when I was tickling it before at 308 pace, and then suddenly I whapped in the power, and you can see the change in the force curve. So it's not kind of low and kind of relatively, well, it's not constant, but it's not that much of a change. Whereas when I put in the power, it's a real acceleration up to the top, that holding the curve pretty much across the top, and then coming down at the back end is because I finished, like all the power kind of tends to come into a finish close to the back of the stroke, which is why it's quite a sharp finish rather than a limping one. So I'll go back into, so I'll do this again, and I'll do a stroke where I don't connect the legs properly and I lurch for the back first. So if I go, there we go. So that's missing the leg drive. So what happened is as my back jerked in, there was a sudden of the momentum of my back. But because I didn't have the leg drive to kind of help with that power, once that initial swing on my back went, the power just completely dropped. And then I was able to then add in a final bit of power with my arms. So although that looks as though it's a good leg drive, it isn't. That's not leg drive at the front, that's the back jerk, and then an arm pull that came into the finish. So, and then what can happen is, I'm trying to think what the best way to demonstrate this is, or in fact, I should tell you what I'll do next is I'll do an arm pull from the front rather than legs. So I come into the front, and then, well, again, it's a hard one to explain because if I push with the legs, it's kind of similar, right? If you look at the two of them, you can see it's overlaid. So the first one, the one you can see like in the background, that was the arm only pull, and then the second one was leg drive and then back and arms. And you kind of say, well, there's not much difference there. So how can you kind of read it that way? Well, this is why you need to watch people actually rowing or to see what they're doing. But you also say, well, hang on, there's not that much difference in terms of what the force curve was in terms of power. So why don't I just pull from the front all the time? And really that's just down to fatigue. Is that to put in that power from the front just by pulling your arms are going to get fatigued really quickly compared to your big old leg muscles. So it's much better from a fitness point of view to use your legs, back, and then arms. If you are, for a 100-meter sprint, what you tend to find is that people will gun the arms and then push the legs because they can use their upper body. But it's only for like 100 meters, 20 seconds. So I'm trying to think what else to demonstrate. Does anyone actually ask? Last force curve is a beauty. I hope that's the one where where it was the right leg drive. No arm pull. What if it's worthwhile? So if I just dump the handle into my stomach, oh, it's all stopped. Why is it stopped? All right, okay, there we go. Oh, it's not. Oh, is that because the row's over? Why is it stopped? Oh, it's not. Oh, it's all a bit delayed now. Don't know why. All right, listen, I'll stop doing force curve examples because let's finish on Julian saying the last force curve is a beauty. Let's not argue with that. But that's what the force curve can let you know what's going on. You do need to be a bit more aware of your own stroke. Like I said, with the difference between the legs only and the arms only, it wasn't really that big, but over time it does come into in terms of fatigue. So you can kind of learn to read it that way. So what's happening? Stroke length of 151 centimeters is good. Do I see when was I 151? I don't know. To be honest, I don't actually track my stroke length. I really should, shouldn't I? I'll take a look through the video and see what the average was. But yeah, I think I'm normally around about 135, so I don't know where the 150 came from. Maybe it was the demonstrating at the end. Julia Manira, thanks for this, guys. I'm done with 5K. Great workout. Shower after cool down, then it's bedtime. Oh yeah, because it's late for you over there, isn't it? Yeah, and then that's everybody saying hello. So I clearly still haven't fixed the green screen because you can still see that big shadow coming up. I have to try better. Hang on, I'm going to put myself around the right way again. Transform, flip horizontal. There you go, that's me. Way. Right, there we go. I can cover that. I'll go full screen. Why not? Wait, look, it's me in all my sweaty goodness. Andrew Field, I've got my normal. I'm assuming that Andrew is sending me his. His results. Very nice. It was my sprints that let me down. Do you think? Were you sprinting better than me? I'm not about speed right now. I don't know what, I'm just not training for speed, and I'm just not kind of things. I enjoy it. Like those little sprints just then were actually really fun, but I don't know whether it's that I've always got other training things to come, and so I just never trained for power and speed. So as much as that's one of the reasons I was talking about why if you train slow, you end up slow, is because that's kind of where I've ended up, is that I just do low intensity most of the time, and so I'm not really kind of building up speed. And so what's kind of happening is that I'm progressively getting slower. because I'm not really training for like power and speed. And so I've noticed, basically, to kind of wind right back, pre my hand injury when I cut my hand, this is when I was doing like the 637s-ish 2Ks, I would sit down and do a 20 strokes a minute, low intensity, so low heart rate row at 158 pace. And then kind of got back into like training through COVID and whatever, once I'd healed and whatever. It tended to be run about 203 pace for 20 strokes a minute. But what I've noticed is that's now gradually got slower and slower. So you can see today I was running about 206 pace for my 20 strokes a minute, kind of, because I'm a great believer in like a default pace in that, I'm not going to bother showing it, but but I could sit down and close my eyes and just row at 20 strokes a minute, or cover the monitor so it's 20 strokes a minute. And my body has a default pace that I row at 20 strokes a minute where I just kind of climb on the machine. Same with 22, 24, and 28 and whatever. And so that default pace for me has just gradually got slower and slower over time. And I think it's because I'm not training for speed. And part of that's because I'm training for high rocks all the time. So that's kind of, my rant at the end. Wait, before you go, one question. Ask away, Tanuka. I mean, come on, it's the end of the rows. I'd never go anywhere. I sit here and chat away to you for hours. Thanks for the workout, TT. Thank you very much for the push. It's good having you kind of on my heels as well, and that tiny little push right at the end where you took me. Tobias was here as well. Yeah, I wasn't too sure if you were here because you didn't say hello. All right. So TT skipped my sprints in the second half, but then you still caught us. So well done. I apologise for giving you all this hassle about force curves from John Edge. No, it's fine. I think it's quite interesting to have seen it on screen. What I might do, I'm trying to think, is next time I'm using Smart Row, maybe I'll put their one on because it's a little smoother, a little less jagged. The Concept 2 one and obviously then the Exer force curves are quite kind of like quite hilly. All right, Tobias was a little bit late. Speaking of which, I watched the movie Everest last night. I know it's been out for years, but I watched it last night. Very good, very powerful stuff. Also watched Spy, a comedy. Not safe to watch with a 13-year-old child is what I found out in terms of all the sweariness and things. But anyway, right, what's Nuka asking? What happened to the treasure hunt and your technique vids are great? Hang on. What happened to the treasure hunt and your technique vids are great? My club members are saying that I have great technique now. Need to improve my power though. Your PB is 746. So, Sanuka, what I'd say is, look at, I hope it is Sanuka, maybe it might be like Sanuka, I don't know. But anyway, I'm just going to keep on calling you Sanuka, so I hope that's fine. Basically work on the power, work on that explosion out from the front, on like really trying to hold that forward tilt and pushing with your legs. Get that power transferred up through your body so you feel like you're hanging off the handle and you're bracing against the handle. Same as if you're hanging off a pull-up bar. You don't like pull against that pull-up bar, you hang, okay? And that's what you want to be doing off the handle when you're driving with your legs, is hanging off it. Let that power come from your legs, then swing your back and then pull your arms. And that way, the harder you push with your feet, the more power goes into the machine. So in the sprints just then, I wasn't thinking about stroke rate. I wasn't thinking about pulling harder with my arms or anything. What I was thinking about was just power, power. Because more power meant a faster drive speed as that power went into the machine, which then put my stroke rate up, which then ended up with me going faster. So it's just, if you just think about rowing coming from your legs and pushing hard, that's what you need to do, okay? What happened to my treasure hunt 30K subs? Was that when I did the treasure hunt? Was that when I hit 30? Correct, because I'm only up at like 34 now. So to be honest, hang on, I'm going to answer Annette first, and then I'll quickly explain, because there's a tiny little rant to finish on. I had fun, thanks, John, and my X-Force curve looks great. I did a 2:35 hours today. Well done, Annette. It's fantastic. So the treasure hunt happened. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of the rules were you had to find a message saying, well done, you found the treasure. And then you had to leave a comment, was that it? And you had to leave a hashtag. And at the end of it, I can't remember how it ended up, but the person who won left, because basically I'd noticed that some of the people who'd found the treasure hadn't left the hashtag. Is that what it was? Or hadn't left hashtag treasure hunt somewhere, or RowAlong treasure hunt. And so there were, I think, like 20 people who'd won, and there's 5 or 6 of them hadn't left the hashtag. So I quickly got in touch with them and said, listen, just give you a heads up. you did find it, well done, but you didn't leave the hashtag. And then that caused a little bit of confusion, let's say, like a kind of angry confusion with some people who like, hang on, they didn't do the full thing, they left the comment too late and all that kind of stuff. And so it ended up on a little bit of a sour note, for which I apologise hugely, because obviously the prospect of winning a Concept 2 was huge, and some people felt that it was, that they should have, yeah, you can see I'm havering over it because I was a little bit embarrassed by how it ended up. But somebody still, and then actually the guy who did win, he ended up donating, because he already had one, he ended up donating the machine to a local school. So I actually kind of thought in the end, you know what, actually, that's how you want it to be, is that it ended up kind of doing some good, even though it wasn't really. So I'll probably wait until 50K. Basically, the reason I'm saying there's more to say about this is that I'm in a little bit of no man's land in terms of this YouTube channel right now, because having done a whole bunch of work on it since 2018, it just I can't break in. I can't get out there and get more people to see it, and it's getting to a point where the amount of work that I was putting into it, it was getting frustrating, and I was getting quite frustrated by it, that somebody would make a technique video, I'd make a technique video, someone would make pretty much exactly the same video, and then they get like 450,000 views, I'd get 4,000 views for the exact same thing. And I'm like, I don't understand why this isn't happening. And so I found the frustration was making me quite kind of grumpy towards doing anything. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do these live rows every Sunday. I've got 800 workout videos up here anyway. I've got like 100 technique videos plus. So I don't need to make more content, so I'll keep on doing these Sunday ones. I'm still making stuff for RowAlong. I've got a new series coming soon, Time for Change. It's going to pop up on YouTube anyway. But until I can work out what's going on and how I can break into kind of getting this across to more people, I'm going to research that stuff before I just kind of blankly make a whole bunch more videos again, because otherwise, like, it just ends up being pointless. So anyway, sorry. I hope your channel grows, and wish you good luck and good night. Yeah, you too, Snuka. Thank you so much for asking questions and joining in. And apologies for that little bit of rant at the end, but I just kind of want to explain why there has been a little bit of, there has been a drop off in the content, is that I'm just trying to work out, I want to research first, then make, rather than make and hope people watch it. I want to find out why people go to other channels rather than me for basically the exact same content. Is it just me? And people don't want to watch me. So thank you so much for being here. Sorry about the big long ranty end. Thank you so much for being here on this Sunday afternoon or morning or evening or wherever you are. And I almost fell off the rowing machine there because I'm squirming around with a bit of an uncomfortable backside. I was sitting at all day yesterday. I was at Holly was swimming a swimming gala, and I was sitting on a really hard concrete bench all day long, and my backside is so sore today. So thank you once again for being here. Next week, I'm not entirely sure whether it's the 9 o'clock or the 5 o'clock one, because obviously I gatecrashed the British Rowing one today, so I'm not entirely sure. So go to extragame.com/events, check the schedule, and you'll find out whether next week is a 9 o'clock or a 5 o'clock row, and I will hopefully see you then. Have a fantastic week. Look after yourselves. Have a shower. Have something to eat. Have something to drink. And of course, tell someone you love them. Someone that you obviously do love, tell them that you love them. Ooh, Andrew peaked at 1:30 in the last sprint. Good grief. Can't do too many sprints. Anyway, so yeah, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next week. Look after yourselves, and I will try and get the RP3 thing RP3 thing working with a handle next week. Last thing, Andrew just asked, am I going to do the grid again? I was thinking, it's funny actually, because this is the second person that's brought that up. I was thinking about it yesterday while I was sitting in the swimming gala, and I was just sitting there kind of going, what am I going to do? And I thought, actually, I didn't run the grid last year, so I might do that again. The grid rowing competition for the start. Oh no! Holly's swimming again, and she was doing a 200, and she stopped at 150. Oh no! Anyway, so yeah, I might do it like September. I might run it again, but I'll let you know. So. Thanks once again, everyone. Obviously, this is the third time I said thanks once again and goodbye, so I'm just going to actually go this time. So I will see you at one point next week. Make sure you get in touch, say hello. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you've got any requests or anything. Even if you've got any suggestions on how I can try and grow the channel, then please do. And until we meet again, please take care of yourselves. Row well, be well.